dun, dun, dun.
What's happening, people? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Premier League debate show. And boy, have we got a lot to discuss today, man. It's happened from, I'd say, 10 a.m. this morning all the way now. There's literally breaking news after breaking news. So we might even get a couple on the show. Who knows, people? Who knows? But with me today, we've got Daps in the building representing Manchester City. Daps, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Quick question for everyone because it's hot, and I think most people watching this hot. What is your go-to drink when it's hot?
Vodka. And when it's cold.
There's not,
Fanta fruit twist.
like you're close, Fanta, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing hits like Fanta alive. Nothing hits like Fanta.
No, I love lemon Fanta, but I'm trying to lay off the fizzy drinks, man.
I hear you.
I had to go to the dentist the other week, bro, and since then I'm like, I can't. I'm just like gluten for punishment. Can't keep going.
Same, bro. I hear you. But yeah, I'm good. The weather's nice. We can't complain. We've had a few bad weeks, and football's back in one sleep's time, and the transfer window's hotting up. So we're good, man. We're good.
Yep, absolutely, mate. Pete, how are you, mate? Newcastle, how's it going, mate?
All good, all good. Thanks for having me back. Can't wait to discuss all things football. Premier League season's back, boys. Can't wait.
Yep, absolutely, man. Errol, mate, your club's in a bit of turmoil. It's going off, mate. How are you coping, man, today, man? It's all kicking off today. It's all kicking off.
We're good. I've been up in the studio. I've been linking up with the lads at Red Men today. We've had a crisis session of sorts.
Yeah.
We're good. Everything's blessed, bro. I can't complain, really. I just want Liverpool to get the business done now. We know what we need to do. Just do it and shut people up one time.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean, pleasure, mate. Must be a whirlwind day for you as well today, mate. Trying to convince the Spurs fans that Tottenham will exist after Harry Kane.
Mate, honest to God, the meltdown is insane. The same fans that were saying a week ago Daniel Levy is guilty of gross incompetence or gross negligence if he lets him run down his contract and leave for free are the same people that are saying today he's guilty of gross negligence if he lets him leave 2 days before before the season starts. Like, this guy can't do right from wrong. There's no angle where he's not guilty of gross negligence with some of our fans. It's bonkers. I love it. This is why we're content creators. There's lots to talk about. Thanks for having me back, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A man like Lee is in the building, even though he's in some sort of potato room there. I don't know what you're streaming off there, mate, but your internet's doing a madness. But what are you saying, Lee?
Oh, is he looking mad?
Lee, you're doing 3.5 mil deals from a £1.50 camera.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on. Hold on, let me check it. I didn't even see that. My bad. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries, man. But listen, we've got a lot to discuss, man. Let's get straight into it, man. Harry Kane debate. So, Sean, give us a lowdown, because I feel like for me, y'all have been talking about all day today. What's the lowdown for those that have not seen what's happened on the news today? Give us a lowdown.
Oh, okay. In as quick a nutshell as possible, we've been waiting for the will he, won't he, will Bayern Munich make a bid that Daniel Levy wants to accept. Essentially, last Friday night, Bayern Munich puts in the bid that's a take it or leave it. There's a 24-hour, we got until midnight tonight thing to take it. Daniel Levy says, I don't deal with people that put like these restrictions on my decision, bro. So I'm going to take a flight to Miami. He didn't even acknowledge the bid. The bid allegedly was 120 million euros, about 90 million pound up front, and then about 105 in total with add-ons. The next day, he apparently rejects it. We don't really know what's gone on. And then today we wake up to a new deal. Ornstein from The Athletic says the deal's back, and it's actually less. It looks like it's less money in total than it was last Friday, and that Daniel Levy's accepted it, which leads me to think, well, how's that worked out? Does he know something that we don't? Has Harry Kane given him an intimation that says that you accept it or I'll leave for free? Or has the structure of the payments changed to get more money up front? Has the add-ons been a little bit easier to achieve? Who knows? But allegedly today it has been accepted. We still don't know where Harry Kane lays on this, and ultimately it's up to him at this stage whether he wants to go or not. But all the big ITKs are currently saying that he's leaning like he doesn't want to accept this one. So as Tottenham fans, we don't know what's going on. Ange Postecoglou doesn't know whether he's going to have his number 9 in place on Sunday afternoon. It's a massive mess. I don't like it, and I don't really have much more to inform you of apart from my opinion. Like, as far as news, that's it, right? The deal's been accepted, but the decision hasn't been made.
What? So far, it hasn't officially come from Kane, but are we saying? I'm going to say the obvious names. Is it Ornstein and Fabrizio have basically said that Kane's leaning towards staying?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And Sky Sport, people on Sky Sports,
Sky as well,
the main guys are saying the deal's been accepted. It's over to Harry Kane. He's got to make his mind up, and apparently he's leaning towards staying. Why? Don't know. Some people a couple of days ago were intimating that he actually really enjoys Ange Ball. He's liking what's happening at Tottenham, and there's rumours that that Tottenham, whether we lose Harry Kane or not, have still got enough money in the bank to go and get a couple of extra players in. One of them might be Gift Orban to replace Brian Hill, who's injured, and this kid
Very
from
young,
Ghent,
though.
yeah, he's banging balls
Very
in left, right. He's insane, and also we've got enough money, enough change left over to go and get another centre back to help the back line. So, look, dream world scenario for me is Harry Kane stays, Harry Kane signs, and we still have the cash to go and fill in the gaps. Don't know if all those things can be true at once. I don't know. I'm waiting to see, to be honest, boys. I'm waiting to see.
Mm. Guys. Yeah, go on, Dux.
I was going to say, I must admit, I'd heard that he'd gone and looked at schools in, I think, Germany and Paris or something. But to be honest, I don't think that means too much. If people were interested in you,
no, his wife apparently did, but his wife was 8.5 months pregnant at the time. Like, who do you know who's pregnant that flies?
No, that didn't happen. No, that didn't happen then. But ultimately, for me, he's going United, isn't it? For me, I think he's staying. He won't sign a new contract.
Why is it now, Steve? Then you now, like, you're getting me too excited, man. Relax.
Nah, bro,
why are you putting me?
I can't see, like, people will say, the media will say, other people will say, oh, Arsenal could come in for him, Chelsea could come in for him.
He's never going to go to one of those.
He ain't going to a London club. He's not. I'm sorry, he's not going to do that. He wouldn't have taken this long to make up his mind if he's not doing that, yeah. But I do think he could go to Man United, and a few Tottenham fans will have a bit of an issue with it, but not massively, because it's not Arsenal or Chelsea. It's Man United, yeah? And to be fair, a lot of Tottenham fans he deserves to win a trophy, and they think that might be. So, and I'll just be real. Look, him and Levy, they can't have a great relationship. It can't be there. After what's happened and all the history, I think Kane has probably put up with it and accepted that he works for Levy ultimately, but he's going to be very happy to take all that money himself. And let's be real, financially, this is probably, apart from going to Saudi Arabia, staying one more year and then going next season on a free to Man United is financially the best option for him, right? You probably know that best, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't. In terms of like this idea that because you're running your contract down, you're going to earn more than if you sign the new contract, I don't think is true. I think that there's plenty of examples of players that have signed renewal contracts in the final year of their current deal that have included signing bonuses that have equated to the same thing as they would have got had they left and gone for free elsewhere. So I don't necessarily think that he would earn more money going to United next year than, say, signing at Tottenham or anywhere else. I think Daniel Levy, if he wanted to convince him to stay, would have to make that package look a lot like what he would get if he was leaving for free. It comes down to other things, trophy chances.
So do you think he might stay then? As in, not stay this summer. Do you think he might sign a new contract?
I honest to God, mate, I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm so split. I'm like, there's a 30% chance in my mind that he leaves tonight or tomorrow morning. We hear about it. There's a 30% chance that he plays on Brentford and then says, I'm staying at least until January. And then there's a 30% and maybe signs a new contract, maybe doesn't. And there's another possibility that he goes through to the season. If he sees enough from Ange Ball, if we can go and bang in 80 goals this season, right? If we can go and compete on the goal scoring and we got enough reinforcements at the back that can hold off the 63 that we conceded, I don't know, man. Like there's a draw to staying in the Premier League and completing your record with Tottenham. I'd say that him signing at Tottenham at some point this season and continuing at Tottenham is the weakest of all the options. I'd say that the most likely is that he leaves in some vein, but which one and how that looks, I honestly don't know, mate. I've got no idea.
Fair. So, do you excite though slowly, innit? I bet the fact he's turned down Bayern has made you think, oh, it really might happen.
it's waiting for Man United to come in there. Whether Man United have got the money is a different thing. You don't know what they could come out with. The Glazers might say, you know what, F it, we might go for a title charge this year and do it. The only problem is though, Daniel Levy will add in another 20 million on top of what it's been said, even though they've accepted 100 million euros. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, but next year, you get him on a free though. Next year, you get
Fenerbahce.
Fred's got to here we go.
Fred is
to
gone
where?
now.
Fenerbahce?
Fenerbahce. Yeah, Fenerbahce.
I thought he was going to someone.
That's it.
I swear, was it Fulham he was
He's meant to be going Fulham, but
Yeah.
Fenerbahce is
Fulham,
probably his
now-
level, to be fair.
Verbal agreement. Fred is gone. So yeah, man, that's a bit of money there. 15 million euros on that one. Nice.
Saeed, you were never going to get Kane this window anyway. So the prospect of you getting Harry Kane would have been on a free. So yeah, he would have had a bit of a sign-on bonus, and then obviously the overall package. The thing for which would, if it was the United prospect, is third year syndrome. You know, will Ten Hag get backed in that third season with United?
Yeah.
And the biggest show of faith to that would be to sign Harry Kane, because in previous seasons or with previous managers, that's where it's kind of all unraveled for a lot of the time, with either transfer businesses or actually the direction that the manager wants to go in. It all seems to go a little bit sour in that third season for Man U. So depending on the strength or the success that Man U was to have this season, obviously depends on the level of investment that he was to get. But if you wanted to steady the ship at any point, there's probably not a better deal than Man U could make than at least throwing a name in for Harry Kane.
What's the deal with Harry Kane's? What's the deal with Man United and Eric Ten Hag's? Didn't they reshape the wage structure? Didn't they say that they were going to put a limit, like some sort of cap on it? And what does that look like?
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's I don't know. It's quite a bit.
Still mad. It's still crazy, bro. It's still
really high, is it?
It's not really, exactly. But like I said to you, I don't know. It depends on what Harry Kane's contract would be in that aspect and what it would be in the future. I don't know what his contract. What's his contract right now? Did you say?
At the moment, he's on 250, but he's been offered 450 by Tottenham and by Bayern Munich. So a week,
I don't know if United would break the bank for that. I don't know if United would be able to kind of break the bank for 450. That would be crazy.
Hold on, elephant in the room. There's an elephant in the room here.
Will tell you that they can do that.
Yeah, but they've changed it. They've changed it back. But there's a massive elephant in the room.
You do that for Harry Kane, though. Come on.
Even more so.
Harry Kane. Harry Kane's a game changer.
Even more so. If the new, I honestly do think the new owners will be Qatar. I do think they'll come in. Maybe before January. And the interesting one is January window. If they do get new owners before January, the January window could be interesting because, Sean, you're probably the best one to tell me on this. Am I right? From January, European teams can speak with Harry Kane and sign him on a free?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they can sign a pre-contract, but British clubs can't until June. Yeah.
Right. So if Qatar come in before January, then I could imagine United worrying that Bayern might go back in January. Although, to be fair, do you know what? Bayern wouldn't. If Kane turns him down, Bayern will walk away, innit? Yeah.
If Bayern Munich don't get him now, Bayern Munich are not getting him next summer. It's going to be Real Madrid or someone else that comes in. If it's not United, it's going to be someone that's got mega bucks and that's got the gravitas. Real Madrid are going to need someone. Yeah, there's plenty of other clubs that will need someone by then. I think Bayern Munich have got it's now or never for them. I
also think that Bayern being turned down now is a bit of a statement to the rest of Europe, to be honest with you. I think it's a bit of I want to stay in England. I think for me, why would you turn down Bayern now to then go to Real next summer? I don't really.
Look at what Bale did, bro. You go to Real and you're challenging
Real
for
Madrid, mate.
Champions League, bro.
So could Bayern with Kane. Did you not see?
Real Madrid, mate. Real Madrid are
I agree with you, Daps, there, because I do think that you've had all the regulars, the likes of Carragher and people on Sky and in the media come out and say, I think Michael Owen, he's fucking fan anyway, but he's come out and had his 2 pence about Harry Kane. Not going to Bayern and what's the point? I think it's an absolute disrespect that they're saying that he shouldn't be going to Bayern and Bayern's not. Bayern is levels of a step up to Spurs. I'm sorry. Bayern are a massive club. The only reason why we don't talk about Bayern alongside Real Madrid and all the rest of it is Their league doesn't generate the sort of money that ours does. That's the only reason. But you look at their history, their heritage. Their history and heritage blows out most of the teams in Europe.
And I can tell you from
a lot of these professionals, ex-professionals, media people that are coming out and disrespecting Bayern Munich, I think is an absolute disgrace. Harry Kane would be a massive success, and it would be an absolute, like, it would be a milestone on his career, in my opinion, if he goes to Bayern and wins 3 or 4 Bundesligas. Like, to play that down, I think, is an absolute joke.
I think,
and actually, he's got more chance of winning the Champions League by going to Bayern Munich and being their main guy. But actually, you know,
but is he going to win? Is he going to win the champ? Is the real question, I think, for him, right? I think it comes down to a not insignificant a part of the debate in his mind comes down to is he going to make the difference in Bayern Munich winning a title? No, not the Champions League.
Title, no.
And not any of the cups either, right? And not any of the best.
Why would that be an issue for Harry Kane? Harry Kane wants to go to a team that's going to win the league.
Because there's the argument
between them winning the league. He's going to go there and pick up the trophy at the end of the season. For me,
because the argument is that your legacy is dependent on winning a trophy. Like, the only reason that he can't win, the only reason he's not going to be considered the GOAT of all time is because he hasn't won a trophy. But if you have to leave the club you're at to go to a club that doesn't need you to win the trophy that you're going to win by being with them, then your legacy doesn't change anyway. The only real value of being there for him, other than just to tick that box, is if you're going to win a trophy and make a difference that they wouldn't otherwise win without him, and that is the Champions League. And are Bayern Munich going to win the Champions League with Harry Kane? Maybe it's a closer bet, but is it a sure thing? I don't think so.
No, it's not a sure thing. But the one thing.
You look at Man City for the last 5 years. You look at their squad and you'd think they were a sure thing for the last 5 years, but it's taken them till this last year to achieve what they wanted to achieve.
Look,
Champions League never a sure thing, but with Bayern having Kane as their main man gets them a hell of a lot closer. Because let's face it, they've got to quarterfinals, semi-finals without someone like him. And you put him in the team, like that makes it different, and he offers more, in my opinion, than Lewandowski as a whole package of a striker. So he's going to add more to their game. 100%.
Before you go, I want to hear what Goulali's got to say about this. Goulali, can you hear us now?
This is just going to be wild. This is just going to be wild. You're bringing in a beast now, so
yeah, he's just a fucking loser, to be honest. That's it, bro. Like, I keep saying it, and I've said it before, and I say it again. I don't know why people keep making out that he's the person to take any team over the top. I don't know how many countless occasions that we have to keep reminding everybody, whether it's for England or Spurs, whether it's FA Cup semi-finals or finals, whether it's quarter-finals for England, semi-finals or finals for England, he's had opportunities. So for me, I don't understand why anybody's going to be breaking the bank. Listen, he's a world-class player. I'll give him that. He's scored a hell of a lot of goals. I'll give him that. That's facts, and these are facts. But you know, sometimes people cry over spilled milk, and you know, all you got to do is get a tissue and clean it up, man, and that's it. And listen, he's done what he's done in the Premier League. Let him go to the Bundesliga, get a few titles. I feel like, what I will say is, look, to give him credit, he's been a fantastic goal scorer, and I do think, football-wise, it would be a shame if he doesn't win any trophies, just because he is a good player. Like, he is a good player, and he deserves to win something, because I do think Spurs have let him down a little bit. But I just think, just like when we go to Arsenal, when we go to Liverpool, certain players and certain managers need to take accountability, and Harry Kane needs to take accountability for his lack of putting a team over the edge. He has been put in positions, and he's meant to be the guy with Son to put the team over the top, and he hasn't. So
I agree with
why everyone keeps crying for him to go to Man United, and they're crowning him this position to, if he goes to Man United, they're going to win the league. Why am I not allowed to?
Is your argument not in support of the argument that I make, that leaving Tottenham, a team where you've got to 5 finals, you've got to 10 semi-finals, whatever you've done in your career, and haven't got the team over the line, if there is this argument that you won't be remembered as one of the greatest unless you have a trophy, if the fact that he has to leave Tottenham to go to a team where the only thing that changes is the players that are around him that will help him get over the line, does that not deflate the argument that he can't be considered one of the best unless he has a trophy? If it takes everything other than him changing to win that trophy.
Yeah, look, I think it's how much you put weight or how much weight you put in the Bundesliga. I don't put a lot on it. That's why I don't rate a lot of players from the Bundesliga itself. So like, I feel like there is a tax that you have to kind of come to the league and do it and show me, because Jadon Sancho, another perfect example of that. So for me, look, like, I think I do agree, but I just think if he gets a title, if he does get a title, if he gets a couple of trophies, it's better than having nothing. You know, he's not going to just talk about the fact that he scored 200 and I believe it's the record 90 goals or whatever it is in the Premier League that I think he's going to get at Spurs. So, yeah, look, I do think it's something which it's better than nothing, and I think it will help his legacy. But you're right, going to the Bundesliga and winning the league, winning those cups, and as you guys said, he doesn't need to go there for them to win. They're good enough already. They won it, I know, by 1 point last season, but they're good enough to win it. So this is
my thing, gonna lead though, bro. I think, and I'll be honest, I think he's shook. I think he's shook of the Bayern.
He is. He is.
Bayern.
You're right.
Yeah, but Bayern. And the reason I said, and I don't know if I said it on this show the other week, which is it's because Bayern are elite. The mentality there is we win. It's not a ifs or like a question. It's an exclamation mark. Are we winning the league this year? Yeah, fact, exclamation mark. There's no question mark about it. Bayern are on job, and going into that dressing room and having to adapt your mentality to what everyone else. It's a big. That is a big leap. And I'm not saying that Kane hasn't got the ability, but going out of your comfort zone where you are very catered to now, if it doesn't hit the ground running and they're going to do it without you, and all of a sudden now, the one season, God forbid, the one season Bayern don't win the fucking Bundesliga and Kane's there, his whole ego and everything and aura just crumbles around him. That is a scary prospect. And furthermore to that, if he was to see out his contract, or if he was to stay, whatever happens with his contract happens. The worst case scenario of him staying in England is I'm going to at least get the record. Even if I don't get a trophy, I am going to cement, like Steven Gerrard didn't get the Premier League's medal for Liverpool. But let me just land it. He didn't get the Premier League medal. But the reason ultimately he can still be considered a Premier League legend is because he went and won the Champions League. So he done something else in the game where other players can objectively look at him and say he is cold, he is quality, he is best in class.
The problem that you've got though, the only problem is if you look at that top 10 goal scorers list, everybody's won internationally and for the Premier League. So if he goes on a standalone and he's been in opportunities and he hasn't done it at Spurs and he stays and he gets these goals, you can't compare him to Alan Shearer because listen,
no, you
Alan
can't.
Got that.
Yeah,
he's got that one thing,
because he won one. Yeah, because he won one. Yeah.
And that's
he's got one.
Why do? Look, right
that's why I'm saying. But that's why I'm saying. Worst case scenario.
All he needed was one, just to go. Boom, then I'm there now.
But that's why I'm saying. Worst case scenario. That's his fallback. At worst, I stay in the Premier and I get the Premier League record. That's how his mentality is. But that's how his mentality is.
I don't think it would. I agree with you 100%. I just don't think, in the grand scheme of things, it's enough for him to just say, "All right, well, I've got the goal scorer record." Because, listen, and again, people are going to keep mentioning and all this stuff. I had conversations with quite a few mates, and because of where Man City are right now in this football world, the treble doesn't mean as much. It doesn't mean as much. People forgot about it after 2 weeks, and that's just the facts right now. Some people have. I didn't. But some people, say, "Oh, who cares?" And that's the same thing for Harry Kane. He will be in that list first, second, but people won't remember him, and that's the thing. And again, I'm not making a dig at Man City. I'm contrary on Harry Kane. But
it does take more. You're right. Nowadays, it does take more to be noticed. I agree with you.
And that's the whole thing. It's about, look, we're gonna know Harry Kane. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I think more people will remember Harry Kane for the fact that he can't speak English and he's English, than the fact that the guy's bloody, the top goal scorer. Cheeky. If he stays. No.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing? Yeah. What Errol just
Sorry, go on.
What Errol just said, it's interesting, yeah, because I've always thought that he might be weary of going to Man United, right? Because if he goes, Man United signed RVP. RVP went there and won the league, right?
Lit it up.
Right. So I think Kane must have at some point thought, you know what, if I go to Man United and they don't win the league, yeah, rightly or wrongly, and I personally think wrongly, yeah, well, we can't say, but potentially it could be wrongly. It could be multiple reasons, but everyone will look at Harry Kane, right? However, the truth is that it's going to take more than Harry Kane for Man United to jump back to win the league. However, Bayern Munich, I was going to say before, we've played Bayern Munich 3 times in the last 4 or 5 months, right? Every single time we have played them, if they had a number 9, yeah, it would have been a lot closer,
Facts.
yeah. And he's going into a team that's built for him, that's ready for Kane just to slot in.
My only thing I would say with Harry Kane, look, and I think I'll kind of leave it there. No one's going to ever question. Harry Kane might get 40 goals, but it's when he gets those goals in those crunch moments against Man City. One thing you can't label against Aguero, you can't label against Henry. Okay, finals maybe, but I'm talking about in the course of a 38-game season. You can't. Alan Shearer, even for Newcastle, Dwight York, Andy Cole, big game players in those big crunch moments. He's scoring that goal, so he can score 40 goals. But if I need you to get that goal in that last-minute goal against, I don't know, Burnley this season to win the league, are you going to do that? I don't think he is, because as I said, every time he gets in those positions, I've seen him fluff his lines. And that doesn't mean he's not a good player. I just don't trust him to get a team over the line to win the Premier League. That's all it is.
I think the Premier League's a very valid...
Last point on Kane. Last point on Kane there. Go on, Errol.
No, I think the Premier League shout, if he goes to Man U, it is valid. I think there's a potential to City to be in the race at some point, depending on how chips fall, but that's another conversation altogether. I think the likelihood of him winning something with Man U is far greater, though. I think whether that's a Carabao Cup, whether that's an FA Cup, whether that might be depending on where they finish in Europe, could be Europa League. I think he's got more of a chance, and I think that's what he'd settle for. Baseline, I'm going to get a record, but above that, there are other opportunities where I could grasp a trophy at Man United, which is more realistic than trying to get one at Spurs as it currently stands. Sorry, mate.
Absolutely. Guys, it's 1.1k in here. I don't think we've hit 300 likes yet. Make sure you guys are supporting the channel. The thumbs up mean a lot, people. It gets it to more people around YouTube and it hits the algorithm. So if you're watching right now, hit the like button. Got a couple of super chats here. Big up to Abdi Sheikh says, Fred, here we go to Fenerbahce. Now it's time for Maguire, McTominay, Van der Beek. From McFred to Casabrat. Massive upgrade. And big up to Yusuf. Said from Bundesliga, he should break Shearer's record. He will be a GOAT regardless of a trophy. By the way, he will crown his career at a theatre, just like Teddy. Next topic I want to talk about is Lavia. Lavia and Caicedo, because they're both together for some reason. So, Errol, we'll start off with you last night. I was on the Big Six, and I was like, you know, I mean, it was all getting comfortable. Then Grizzly's face.
Oh, you started rubbing your hands. I see.
Yeah. I was like,
you're going to leave doing all of this. No. Hey, have you signed Kudos yet? Have you signed Kudos yet?
Listen. You know what? I gotta admit, my brother Saeed, bro. He knows me now. He knows me because he said he made sure that I saw it last night. I was in my bed, snuggled up, watching a bit of TV, and a nice little bomber came. So yeah, it was nice. Thank you.
Yeah, go on. What I was gonna say to you? Yeah, go on, Errol.
No, bro. We've been dragged into a saga, and I've made no bones about it. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. Liverpool operate when we move like snipers. When we move like snipers and we're bossing it, that's when we're at our best. That's because there's a level of doing things, and there's a way that we have held ourselves in recent seasons that you can question the level of spend that Liverpool Football Club apply across transfer windows. And I won't argue anyone when they turn around and say, oh, you're meant to be a big club and you don't spend. Fine. You can push that narrative because there's a lot of truth to it. But what I will always back to the hills is when we operate properly within the transfer market, we tend to do it with a level of class and ability that other teams have admired. Arsenal have admired it in recent seasons. Newcastle last season were very good at being able to kind of steal a march and do very similar business to what Liverpool have done. City, kind of go both ways sometimes. They'll do it, and it's just like, right, we'll just get the player, or there's a little bit of murmuring around it. But when it comes to paying and coughing up the money, we'll pay and we'll cough up. And I think that's when Liverpool have done the best business. This whole Lavia fiasco and saga that we've been dragged into, and now Caicedo and this Andre kid and all of this shit that's in the public eye is just making us look really backwards. It makes us look stupid as a football club. And the one time where you give us the grace of, well, that's the one thing we do well, all of a sudden now we're not even doing that as to the levels that we've previously done. So it looks like we're absolutely fumbling the bag. In terms of the player, it's not a money issue. So let's get that, that myth out the way and get it dead and buried in the water. Liverpool have got the money and the funds to splash on Lavia if they deemed Lavia value for that money. Now, my argument
makes sense though.
No, but it's true. But listen to me. But go on.
Okay, go on.
No, why does
why it don't make sense? Because they have told you it's 50 million.
Correct.
And you've dilly-dallied around. You've
Correct.
got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I think it's the third bid right now. You know it's 50 million. And now you've allowed Chelsea to get in the race and then potentially hijack. Why would you put yourselves in that position? I think that's the question every Liverpool fan is thinking. If you know what I mean in that aspect.
Yeah, and I completely get that. And I think what Liverpool were expecting was, we've got a kid in Basetic that's a year younger, but we don't value him at £50 million. But we consider his ceiling and Lavia's ceiling to be similar. So my argument to the other end of, well, if you don't value him at 50 million, walk away and don't get the player. The thing is, for me, if the money is there but you don't value him, you've got to be in a position from your side of things to be able to say, right, where else in the market can we apply those funds, or where else in the market do we actually find that value? The fact that we have failed to identify that to this point is what's crippling us right now. It's what's stopping us from being able to actually act proactively. We're being really reactive because we knew the price was 50 mil, but we just don't want to pay it. We just don't think the lad is worth that 50 mil. So if we don't think he's worth it, go and identify another target. It's not that deep from my perspective.
This is why it don't make sense, though, Errol.
But this is what I'm saying. So let me just finish this. Let me land this. If you don't think he's worth 50 mil, my argument to it ultimately is, you're not paying 50 mil for Lavia today. You're paying 50 mil for the player that he could be in 2 or 3 years' time. And if he goes on to be successful in this team, he kicks on, he hits the ceiling that you deem him to have, you won't be able to buy his left foot for 50 mil in 2 to 3 years' time. So why do you not just bite the bullet and pay the price? That's what's confusing to me. So it's the planning of it all. It's how we've wrapped it up and planned it. Then you throw in the Caicedo issue, and that's just another hand grenade, bro.
Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to say. This is where I'm like, and this is where I want you guys' opinion in this, is that they don't want to pay the money for the Lavia, or they're looking like they're dilly-dallying around. But then all of a sudden, today we're hearing they're going to pay the 100 million that Caicedo is. And that's where I'm like, how does that make sense? I get it. Lavia probably doesn't cost that money for the player he is. And Caicedo's relevance to that is he's worth 100 million. So you pay that 100 million. Whereas I'm just like, how does it go from that to that? Like, where is it? Liverpool's strategy?
The easy answer is, and this is where we've been deliberating, and this is where the confusion is from, like, external fans that aren't actual Liverpool fans and like looking into it. We've just received 50 mil for 2 players, Henderson and Fabinho. So there's a 50 mil pot. So you can turn around and say, Liverpool haven't got the money. Liverpool haven't got their own funds. Well, we've just received funds. We've just been paid out. We've just put an invoice in. We've just been paid out. So that money is there. Yeah. We was already talking to Lavia before we knew that those players were going, though. So that meant we had a level of money that we was willing, the value we felt he was worth, we was willing to pay. So say, for example, that was 40 million. The issue that Liverpool have now is there's the 40 mil that we was going to give to Lavia, and if we would have got the deal and financed the deal for him, there, sorted. And now there's this extra 50 odd million. So between the two, if we were to apportion those 2 pots of funds together, there's 90 million pound. Which is more valuable to us as a club now? The 90 million pound prospect in Caicedo and player that could hit the ground running, already got a relationship with McAllister, might not need as much bedding in time, or do we spend the 50 mil on Caicedo, bite the bullet, pay more than what we're comfortable paying, but then still have about 40, 50 mil to now reinvest in a defender? So I think they're deliberating between where they apportion the money and ultimately which is going to give them the most value come the end of next season from a squad's perspective.
You've just answered your own question there, and you just mentioned next season. And that, for me, is the reason why they are dilly-dallying between Caicedo and Lavia. And because the one thing you've forgotten is amortization with regards to the money that you've got in. So you've got 90 million in the bank, which means that if you put that amortization in there as well with an FFP and all the rest of it, it means that you could go out and get someone for 200 million effectively, or you could get 2 players at 100 million. That's what that 90 million allows you to do. Because let's not forget, and a lot of people have forgotten this, that Saudi money is not being paid in installments. The one thing and the reason why everybody's going and saying, you can have my player, because they're paying it all up front. The Saudi clubs are paying it all up front. So it's not You think that those Saudi clubs are not paying that money all up front?
No, my question mark is a lot of people throw out. Listen, with all due respect, a lot of people throw out the word amortization to explain a lot of like the finances of football. It's a catchy word, like artificial intelligence. It's a catchy word, but the details of all those deals are none of us know. None of us know the length of those contracts. None of us know the terms and conditions. Like there might be assumptions on that, but I've not heard I've not seen anybody tell me that every deal that Saudi is doing is paying the cash up front. If that's the case, then that's a different element. But I've never seen anyone saying that. I don't know why they would, by the way.
I believe, in my opinion, and I'll give you my opinion on that, I think they're paying these transfer fees up front. So that then allows you to be able to spend big money off the back.
I know Jordan Henderson was only like 12 or 13 mil, but I think they had to pay that up front anyway to get him out of his contract.
But even if they're not on the books of the club that's receiving the money, that automatically hits their financial money as if it's their money right there and then, even if it's paid in installments. And that is
again, there's a massive assumption.
It's not an assumption.
Hold up. There's a massive assumption.
That's what it says.
Hey, there is a massive assumption, bro, that when you trigger release clauses, that because you are meeting, because you're forcing the selling club into doing a deal that they otherwise wouldn't do, that you have to get the deal up front, all the money up front. It's a massive assumption, and it's a silly narrative, because the terms of the clause will be embedded in the contract. I'm not saying that it's not the case. There will be some clauses, some release clauses, where you might have an 85 million pound release clause, where because you're forcing the club into a contract or into a deal they don't otherwise want to do, that the buying club has to therefore pay up front. That might be the case in some scenarios. It's not the case in every scenario.
I'm talking about Fabinho and
these
Henderson.
Assumptions around these contract things are so strange to me.
So I'm talking about Fabinho and Henderson. So, Errol, was there a release clause in Henderson or Fabinho's contract?
No, I think they, in order to get Henderson out of his contract, I think they had to pay the 13 mil. I think it was something like that. There was a
what about Fabinho?
Fabinho, they just, again, that there wasn't. I don't think there was a release clause. That was just an offer. They literally just come to the table, negotiated, and I think we settled on 40 mil. How that deal breaks down, I'll be honest, I don't know the details of that.
Even if it is a structured payment, you as the selling club would receive that money, and that would sit in your account as that's your money. So, and that for me goes back to the original point that I was going to make. That for me, I think, is the tug of war that Liverpool are having right now. Because they're going, right, do we go and pay 90 million on Casino right now? Or do we wait, see how this season, 23-24, unfolds and go, you know what, let's attack the window next summer?
That doesn't work.
Conversation.
Errol, I wanted to ask you though, like, because I know like the whole thing is about Lavia, right?
Yeah.
Are you losing any sleep if you do or don't get him? Because listen, for me,
not personally.
That's the thing. Like, I think when we go back to like the football on the pitch, I think ultimately I saw a lot of the Big Six. Shout out to the guys on Big Six. I saw their predictions. I've seen a lot of people's predictions, and a lot of people are kind of oohing and ahhing whether they should put Liverpool, second, third, fourth. I just think your midfield is just so all over the place, and I think when you look at Lavia, I don't know anything about who's trying to get the signings, because the thing about Liverpool fans is when the signing goes good, it's all Klopp. When the signing goes bad, it's Pep, it's the board, it's this scouting team, this, that, and the other, right? So I'm gonna put this on the manager, because everything I'm putting on the manager.
Well, he's already said, bro. Yeah, he's already.
He wants it, right?
I know you got paid. I spoke to him last week, and said Gunnar Lee's got beef with you, Kloppo.
Listen. I'm telling you. You know what you gotta do as well. Tell him just you know what you gotta do. Tell him to just sign the shirts, man, and stop swearing to his fans.
Oh,
man. That's what I want to do.
That was
man.
naughty. That was naughty.
Stop swearing to his fans, man.
That was naughty.
But you know what? For real, I think the board. I'll be real. I think the board just don't back the signing. I don't think that they think he's good enough. And I'm not saying that he's not good enough. I was one of those ones when we were
also Southampton though as well. They're sick of him, Lee. They're sick of Liverpool. They're sick of him. They're sick of Liverpool in the sense of they've got Lambert, they've got Van Dijk, they've got Lallana, they've got how many players? Sadio Mane, bro. They're sick and tired. So they're saying we're playing hardball with you. That's what we're doing.
The thing with what Gunnar Lee's saying is right in a sense that Klopp had already made that known before this transfer window opened, that he wanted more control over the signings going forward. He wanted more of that, the ability to call the shots, have that final decision. And that's not to say that he didn't, but it was more of they needed to reach a consensus. Whereas I think Klopp now is kind of the be all and end all when it comes to these signings and who he plays for. So he's going to have to get credit, and he's going to have to take the criticism if it goes wrong. Yeah.
I do. Do you know? Listen, I can joke and I can laugh, and one thing I will say is I do feel a little bit sorry for Klopp and for the fans, because ultimately you're just fortunate that you're good at selling. Because if you couldn't sell and you were a club like Arsenal that find it very difficult to get high value for their players, you would get no players, because ultimately FSG just don't put money in from their own pocket, and that's where I'm like, you know what, Klopp, I feel it for you. I do feel it for you. And the fans, I feel you're getting shortchanged because you're paying all this money. You're at a position where you can just keep challenging, but you just don't have that extra, that little bit of sauce on top of your, the players that you've got. So I think that's where I feel a little bit sorry. So we can joke and laugh all the time, but yeah, ultimately I do feel a little bit sorry for the players. So even the players, Van Dijk had to come out at the beginning of last season or whatever it was.
Rallying calls. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's where I feel a little bit sorry for the players, the fans, and the manager, because look, the guy does deserve, no matter what I think about him, it doesn't matter what I think, no matter what, Liverpool fans know that he deserves every opportunity to have a situation like what Arteta's got, where ultimately he's getting everything he wants, and he has won only an FA Cup. So for me, I've got my agenda against, but I will 100%, I can see the other side of it as well.
Bro, I said this. I come back from the gym this morning. My group chat's already blowing up. I turned around and said to the boys, tell me that I'm lying. But the reality of the situation is, from my City finished the season, and Pep goes into his hierarchy and speaks to his bosses, and they ask him, what do you need to go again next season? What is it on the playing pitch or on the pitch that is going to get you the Champions League final? Okay. What is going to get you over the line and get you the Champions League? What is going to get you a three-peat? And they go, he says, he's got a shopping list out, and he says, this, and this. And they say, leave it with us. Come back to us in 6 weeks. Boom, boom, boom. Your deals are done. And he's done that consistently for the last 4 or 5 years. And he hasn't he built a squad to a point where he doesn't need wholesale changes season on season.
Little bits and bobs.
He just needs the little bits and bobs to plug the gaps, to completely replenish the playing staff so that they can go again. And my thing is, Klopp's getting left with hand-me-downs. When we're just expecting him to say, do you know what? Paqueta can go again. He didn't get that many minutes last season, so this season he's bound to double those. And all of that goodwill to players has been part of Klopp's downfall, really, and in his own undoing, because he's held on to players that he's given a lot of loyalty and faith to that ultimately haven't earned it. So we've left ourselves in a position now. I seen a statement from someone behind the scenes before, basically saying, look, Liverpool's model is a sustainability model, and the reality of the situation is we're in the Europa League, so we have to act accordingly. Okay, well, by that same fucking logic, soft lad, did we act accordingly last year when we was in the Champions League? No, because we didn't buy the players. If we would have bought the players that we would have needed last season, we might not have dropped out of the Champions League to be in this predicament now. So it doesn't take a genius to work out that sometimes, as I said about the deal with Lavia, you're not buying and spending 50 mil on my man for today. You are basically hedging your bets to say he won't be worth less than 50 mil when it comes to selling him potentially in 3 to 4 years.
Is it okay with your team, your management, your hierarchy, making that same assessment that you're asking them to and come to the conclusion that it's still not worth 50 million?
If they've got a viable replacement, where's your viable replacement?
Well, you don't know what's going on, do you? Just because it's not in the media doesn't mean it's not necessarily happening, right? There might be someone else out there.
Again, and I would like to think and err on this, and I'm typically the type of fan that errs on the side of we are competent, we have got a clue, and everything that's in most of the stuff that's in the headlines is the smoke screen for the business that we do behind the scenes. There was the other season.
Do you have a track record of? Because I remember Tottenham were all over Luis Diaz at the end of 18 months ago, right? Like January the 20th, we were going to sign him. It was done, and then Liverpool step in last minute. And I didn't know until afterwards that there was a little bit of noise about Luis Diaz the previous summer. But then as soon as Tottenham made a move, you just went in and got it done. So like, I don't know your club anywhere near obviously as good as you guys. So I'm asking you, like, if Lavia, if your club have come to the determination that even when you bake in the idea of what he could be worth in 2 years' time, they still say he ain't worth 50 now. Are you confident that they are competent enough to have someone else in mind that we haven't heard of yet, but that they'll get it done in the next 2 weeks?
My honest thing is, I've said it from the start of the transfer, before the transfer window, Liverpool's owners and their finances for business, for transfers this summer, have backed themselves into a corner. Because we failed to address it last season, we have no choice but to address it this season. That's been added. Further injury to insult's been added on the basis that we've let Fabinho and Henderson go. So they can't not afford to, in my eyes. So I'm not just blindly supporting that they will, but they... From a business perspective, they can't neglect it. So even if they don't value him,
not longer as well. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to move over to Man City. There's still 1.1k in the building. Make sure you guys are liking the video. We are literally approaching 500 likes, which is a minimum on the channel. So please, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Manchester City, 88 million bid, is it now for Paqueta? I mean, the transfer window is wild, man. But Paqueta, man, chat to me, Daps. Are you a fan of him, first of all? Do you like him, the profile?
Yes. Do I like Paqueta? Okay. Yes. Do I want him to join City? Yes. But here is the issue that's happened. When you leave your business till late on in the window, when you allow Arsenal to go and get Declan Rice, and I have to be consistent. When Arsenal went in for Trossard in January, then tried to go back for Caicedo, I said, you're going to have to pay more now because you've took one of their players. So the premium is going to go on the next one. This is the same thing. They've gone in, got Declan Rice. We know West Ham are going to, they know City want him because it's late on in the window. Now we're going for him. So it is what it is. Now, do I think he's worth what we've offered? No, I don't. But do I think we need him? Yeah, I do. I think we need more depth in our squad. It's the Euros. I heard, and it's hard because everyone reports different things. I saw 105 million euros, which to me sounds way too much money. I don't care what it is in sterling. To me, it's way too much money for
how much did West Ham sign him for? Was he one of their record signings?
45 million. Between 45 and 50 million.
Yeah.
So they want
he hasn't done enough to earn that jump up to where he is for me. I do want him. I think under Pep he can cook 100%. But I do think it's too much money. And I think if we sign him, we are going to be told by every single rival fan that it's too much money. And I won't disagree. However, I have to be real. We've earned a lot of money in the last year.
Too much money.
It is 100%. And I can't come in here and act like it isn't. But you know what it is? We've got the money. And I'd rather we go into the season and we've spent too much, but got an extra bit of depth to our squad than maybe Errol is going, we're not going to spend the money and we're going to go in without the depth. So it's one of them ones.
Aren't there better players that are of similar level, right? That because he's not the perfect player. He's not in any way, shape, or form a 90 million pound player. Like you look at his goal. I said this last night on Never a Foul. You look at his goals to shots ratio. You look at his goals to shots on target ratio. It takes him 20 shots on target to get a goal.
Yeah.
Right? It's bonkers. And you look at him. You look at him, if you're asking him to do things slightly deeper in the pitch, bring the ball out. His progressive carries. He's in the bottom 10% of all players in the top 5 leagues at that role. Like he's a good player. He's a very good player. But at 80 million quid, you need to have someone that you're going to rely on to either get you the goals or get you the assists or be the guy who breaks the game. And I don't think that he necessarily has that in a team. Once again, I'll make the same accusation. Not the same accusation. Wrong word.
I'm going to use something you just said to Errol in a minute against you. So yeah,
give me 2 seconds. The same consideration that I have about Paqueta as I had about Declan Rice. When you're paying £105 million and you're taking a guy out of a team that is used to playing 30% possession football and you're asking him to play 70% possession football, you've got a different set of metrics, a different set of responsibilities. And when you dial into the stats and the seeing eye test, from my perspective, Paqueta is someone that is a little bit wasteful with the chances that he gets or that he got with West Ham. For Manchester City, I just wonder, I don't know how he's going to work. And I look at other players that are out there that are around the £50 million mark, €50 million mark, €40 million mark. And I think there's players that can offer more than what Paqueta can for Man City. Not saying he's not a good player. I think he's a wonderful player, but I still don't think it makes a lot of sense to me.
So what I would say to that is, firstly, on the, going from a team that has 30% possession, 70%, I guess the only thing we can look at is when he plays for Brazil. And I'd say we probably see him look better when he plays for Brazil. And we probably say Brazil more have 70% possession than 30% possession. But more importantly,
that's fine.
About 10 minutes ago, you asked Errol if Errol trusts his board. That his board will get, if they don't get Lavia done, that they've got other options. And this is the thing that I said coming into this transfer window. I am very blessed that when people asked me in June who we need, I said, I don't care, bro. Who am I to come on here? I could come on like most people do on Twitter.
No, I know that, mate, but we're doing a panel show, bro. I want your opinion, I'm not waiting for Manchester City's.
No, so I'm giving you my opinion. So my opinion, I've said I like Paqueta, but my opinion is I trust my board and I trust, bro, if we try and work out what Pep's going to do, most of our fan base laughed when he played 4 centre-backs for the first time, right? Just won us a treble, bro. So I can't, if Pep has picked him out of all the players out there and said, I want Paqueta, you know what? If it starts going wrong, I will say, do you know what, Pep? Nah, allow it. Yeah. Like we did when he didn't play Rodri or Fernandinho in a Champions League final, right? But in this one, I have to go, you know what? Pep must see something in him. It is what it is. Who am I to tell him that I want Neymar or something? Like,
you know what? Daps is right though. Pep Guardiola just don't go for random players. He goes for particular players as well. And I think for me, he's got qualities that I think might be left off by Gundogan in terms of maybe the advancing midfielder. I think he's been misprofiled by West Ham. He's not a kind of a holding midfielder.
I'm sorry. I'm not letting no one get away with this bullshit. I'm sorry. Just because, can we not just sometimes say that someone we don't agree with it?
I just did, Lee. I just did.
Havertz, yeah. No, and that's what I'm liking. Havertz isn't this player. Mount isn't this player for these players, these clubs, sorry. And now all of a sudden, because it's Pep, because it's almighty God of all the managers in the world, it's going to be amazing that he's the player that, come on.
Sound a bit bitter there, Lee.
No, but I'm
just what you're trying to say.
I'm looking
at it.
I'm looking at it very objectively. Paqueta ain't that guy. Can we not just say that he's not that guy? I don't. No, all I want everyone.
Is it Paqueta? I always thought it was Paqueta, but last night people were calling him Paqueta, and I've been calling him Paqueta all day, thinking I'm wrong, and now you're saying it's Paqueta, which I thought it was. What is it? How do we say his name here?
Potato, whatever, mate. Like all I'm saying is, can we not keep the same energy that everybody had for Havertz? Oh, I can't see what the angle is. I don't know when he's going to fit.
Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Are you literally comparing Paqueta?
He is.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. No. Hold on. Listen, I'm saying to you, Paqueta for this Man City team, they've already got Foden. They've already got Kevin De Bruyne. They've already got Bruno Fernandes. Sorry, they've already got the young player outside.
Who?
Bernardo Fernandes. They've got all of these players, right? I'm just saying, Paqueta doesn't scream out as being the best option, as Sean said, as Dap said, in truth. So can we not just can we not question that?
Yeah,
The
I'd
same
rather
way
Elise. I would rather
Wait,
Elise.
yeah, can we
Right?
not-
By
can we not-
the
I
way,
think we need that
so,
more.
yeah,
But
by the
question
way, just quickly, just Lee, 2 seconds, Gunnar. Lee, for what it's worth, it doesn't matter. This guy can come in and smash it, or he can come in and be your next Calvin Phillips who doesn't play a minute. It won't matter. Like, you're still going to be just fine. So that's the overriding factor is you don't really need, like, he's not going to be the deal breaker for you
That's
either
not
way.
what I was talking about. I'm talking more about if they're gonna pay over 88 million pounds for this guy. 88. Can we understand what we're saying, right? Can we say everyone kept saying the whole Declan Rice thing? I'm just asking you. I'm just saying very, very simply. We got to look at every signing and say sometimes you don't see it, but you're gonna back it. The same way how Havertz was ridiculed.
Yeah.
Bro, Pep might just be
That's it,
playing
that's it.
5D chest out, and he might just be fucking the game up for everybody else. How all of a sudden you have a man like Paqueta worth 88 mil, and the next minute Elise, the next minute next Donny, the next minute everybody else. That all of a sudden now 50 million pound is your entry for any Premier League player that comes from any top 8 team. So it might be a power play more than because I get what Lee's saying. I get what Gunnar Lee's saying in the sense that for me, when we're looking at bridging the gap, people have said Lavia doesn't help Liverpool bridge the gap towards City. Caicedo does that better. So if I use the same logic, I don't think that Paqueta moves the needle that much further than what City currently have.
100% agree.
I don't disagree. And the thing is, as a City fan, I don't disagree. Yeah, but what I would say is
Guardiola as well.
But what I would say is right now, I'm looking at
but that's why I'm saying that 88 mil is going to be the one that's going to bite all of our teams in the arse in 12 months' time. It won't hit us now.
What precedent does that set? If he is 88 million, what God's green earth is Musiala worth? What is Pedri worth? What is Bellingham worth in a year's time? What is Schumann?
But hold on, Sean.
If he's 88 million, what does that do for the top end of the market?
Sean, but this is the way it is. Look, that's how I started this. That when we let West Ham go and charge Arsenal 105 for Rice, we caused this. Or West Ham caused it. Whoever caused it, I don't care who caused it, But from they got 105 for Rice, we've come in for another midfielder that plays in a kind of similar position, right? They don't really want to sell him, but his head's turned. So now they're like, well, you know what? We're not going to let this guy go for no less. But the truth is, we need him because at the moment, we've need him. Hold on, Sean, let me finish, please. Because you said earlier that we know our team better than. So last season, right? If you look at City's squad, and I challenge anyone that goes and says City's squad's big, it is not big. Yeah, right. It's deep, as in the quality of the players. Right.
I hear that.
We don't have two players in every position, but we have a solid squad of 17 where there is no drop-off, right? No drop-off whatsoever, right? Now, since last season, we've let Gundogan go and Mahrez go, right? So far, we've brought in Vardiol and we've brought in Kovacic, right? Now, firstly, Vardiol is a replacement for Laporte, not a replacement for a midfielder or a winger. Laporte will be going. Cancelo, there's a good chance he is also going, right? At the moment, we are one midfielder stroke winger down. So we do need a Paqueta, right? Now, then people say Paqueta's not a winger. Yes, but Foden, Bernardo Silva, Grealish, Cole Palmer, Alvarez can all play on the wing. So what Pep is cooking, I don't know. But I have to trust that he's cooking. Do I think it's too much for him? Yes, but that is the market, bro. I can't do nothing about the market, and neither can Pep. We can't.
Max, no, 100%. Listen, on that point, we're going to wrap it up here. It's been a good show, people, man. Still 1.1K in here. We're live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Premier League debate show, man. It's been a good one, Pete. It's been a pleasure, mate. Let them know where they can find you. Big up to you, man.
Yeah, Loading Mag, NFC, talking all things Newcastle. Got a show at 7:30, away days, doing a preview with a couple of Villa fans. We're less than 10 subscribers from 6K, so we're still building nicely. So if you can all subscribe to the channel, get it to 6K and beyond. We're a new channel, so help us build. Thank you for having me. Top man.
Yeah, Errol, big up to you, man. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Anytime, brother. Link up again soon, just now. Gents, I'm going to shoot off things to do, but I will catch you all soon. Make sure you're smashing the likes and sharing the stream as well. Let people know. Gonna Lee, yeah? You see that?
Guy,
It starts, bro. It starts.
Make sure you win, my guy. Make sure you win, man.
Say less,
Big up
boys.
to you,
Catch
man.
us all later. Big up.
Big up, love, man, love. While Sean gives a shout out, Brighton want to resolve the Moise Caicedo saga tonight.
Wow.
It could be an interesting few hours for that one, people. But Sean, Spurs Talk Show, big up to you, mate.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, mate. Love the chat, love the banter, love the debate. If you guys are interested in, I'm not just a Tottenham guy. I do talk about all other clubs, and especially focus on stuff for the bigger picture, FFP, finance, that kind of thing as well. So surely right now there's going to be some stuff. I'm doing going live in a couple of hours, but yeah, you can find me at Spurs Talk Show for your Tottenham or for your bigger picture football finance stuff. Appreciate you having me on, Saeed, once again, and big up to the boys. It's been a good show.
Big up, man. Big up. Obviously, big up to Gully Lee as well in the building. Always here to rattle people. You know how it goes, man.
Listen, man, shout out. Love for having me on this show. Yeah, you know what? I'll be doing my first stream, guys, tomorrow. I'm back doing it on my channel. I think 6:30. So please make sure that you are there. You know, subscribe. I should have been back doing it for ages, but you know, life has been lifing at the moment. And Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, I will be on AFTV. Yeah, listen, first game, we're there. You know, I feel like we're actually kicking off the Premier League because, you know, who cares about Friday night? So yeah, man, listen, we're there.
You should care about Friday night, bro. You should care about Friday night.
Listen,
you go.
You know what? I'll be honest. I should really and truly, I should make tomorrow date night, but you know, we'll leave it for another week.
Hey, listen, man. Do what you got to do.
Thursday night, date night. Now, Nando's.
Pleasure, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me as always. Beginning to love this show already. 3 shows in. But yeah, never a foul. Live at 10 p.m. tonight, as always. We're doing our predictions tonight, I believe, as well. Myself, Casmo, and Ty. Yeah. And yeah, I'm still unsure on United and Liverpool. You know, I'm like that between them two. So anyway, yeah, 10 p.m. Never a foul. Thanks for having me and love.
Big up, people. Like I said, leave a like on the way out. I'll be back later tonight with some more Manchester United news. So make sure you tune in, people, for I think it's America Talks. So yeah, man, make sure you tune in, people. And yeah, it's been another good Premier League debate show. We're out. Peace.